They should have been erased from history, a small city, a rigid society, a population that could barely sustain itself. And yet, when the dust of battle settled, it was often the larger armies that lay broken. Persian hosts that darkened the horizon, Greek coalitions with superior numbers, forces that should have overwhelmed them through sheer mass. But again and again, Sparta stood, not because they were superhuman, not because they were reckless, and not because they fought without fear. They stood because they understood something most armies never did. War is not won by numbers, it is won by structure. To understand how Sparta defeated larger armies, we must abandon the image of chaotic charges and heroic improvisation. Spartans did not fight chaos, they eliminated it. From childhood, a Spartan boy entered the agoge, not simply a military school, but a system of controlled hardship. Hunger sharpened discipline. Cold strengthened endurance. Competition fostered resilience. They were taught to move together, eat together, endure together. Individual ambition was not celebrated. Collective reliability was. They were trained to obey rhythm, to trust formation, to suppress panic. In battle, hesitation spreads faster than arrows. The Spartans trained until hesitation disappeared. By adulthood, a Spartan hoplite had rehearsed formation drills thousands of times. Shield up, step forward, brace, thrust, recover, advance. The repetition created something rare, predictable unity. This discipline became visible in their greatest tactical instrument, the phalanx. Imagine a solid wall of interlocked shields, bronze catching the light, spears extending outward like a living barricade. Each shield overlapped the next. Each man protected the warrior to his left. Survival was mutual. This created an unspoken contract. Your life depends on the man beside you, and his depends on you. In larger armies, cohesion often dissolved under pressure. Soldiers would surge forward, retreat prematurely, or break formation to pursue individual glory. Spartans did none of this. They advanced slowly, deliberately, silently. The phalanx was not a weapon of speed. It was a weapon of compression. It absorbed impact. It exerted constant forward pressure. It forced the enemy to strain against an unyielding front. Larger forces frequently underestimated this. Numbers create boldness. Boldness can create overextension. Overextension creates gaps, and Sparta waited for gaps. But formation alone does not explain everything. Consider logistics. Sparta did not carry unnecessary baggage into battle. Their society was structured to minimize distraction. While other city-states balanced trade, art, and political debate, Sparta prioritized readiness. Their helot labor system, harsh as it was, allowed full-time warrior focus. This meant Spartan soldiers were not part-time fighters. They were permanent professionals. In contrast, many Greek armies were composed of citizen farmers who returned to their fields after campaigns. Brave, yes, but not constantly conditioned for war. The difference is subtle but powerful. A professional force maintains cohesion under prolonged stress. A temporary army may not. Psychology further magnified this advantage. Before battle, Spartans performed rituals not of frenzy, but of calm. They groomed their long hair. They inspected armor carefully. They sang marching songs in rhythm. To their enemies, this composure was unsettling. Fear spreads through unpredictability. But so does confidence. When thousands face an enemy who appears untouched by anxiety, doubt begins to grow. If they are not afraid of us, should we be afraid of them? Sparta weaponized presence. Then there was terrain strategy. Sparta rarely sought open plains where cavalry and numerical superiority could dominate. They chose choke points, narrow valleys, river crossings, mountain passes. Thermopylae was not an accident of geography. It was tactical mathematics. In confined terrain, numbers become sequential rather than simultaneous. Only a fraction of a larger army can engage at once. The battlefield shrinks. The phalanx thrives. This was not reckless defiance. It was calculated limitation. Sparta reduced the battlefield to a scale where discipline outweighed mass. Leadership reinforced this cohesion. Spartan kings and commanders fought within the formation. They shared vulnerability. They bled alongside their soldiers. Authority was not symbolic. It was embodied. When leadership stands in the line, morale stabilizes. Retreat becomes collective rather than chaotic. Decisions feel unified. And perhaps most crucially, Sparta embraced patience. They did not rush engagement. They did not overextend pursuit. They maintained structural integrity above all. To break formation was dishonor. To abandon position was social death. The fear of shame was as powerful as the fear of injury. But Sparta was not invincible. At Leuctra, they suffered devastating defeat. When their system was countered strategically, when terrain favored the opponent, when formations were innovatively disrupted, they fell. This reveals something essential. Their power was not mystical, it was structural. When structure held, they dominated. When structure fractured, they were vulnerable. And this is the true secret of Sparta. They engineered conditions where their strengths were amplified and their weaknesses minimized. They did not rely on heroic improvisation. They relied on preparation so thorough that improvisation became unnecessary. In a world obsessed with scale, Sparta mastered precision. In a world impressed by spectacle, they invested in discipline. In a world that equated size with power, they proved that alignment can overpower abundance. And that is why centuries later, their legend survives. Not because they were the largest, but because they understood design. So when you picture a Spartan line facing an army that stretches beyond the horizon, understand this. They were not counting the enemy, they were counting each other. Each shield, each step, each breath taken in unison. Victory was never guaranteed, but cohesion was. And sometimes cohesion is stronger than fear, stronger than chaos, stronger than numbers. Sparta's true weapon was not bronze, not muscle, not even courage. It was structure, forged over years, reinforced by ritual, sustained by discipline. A system so precise that when battle arrived, they did not need inspiration, they needed execution. And that is the difference between legend and strategy. If you were surprised by how calculated Sparta truly was, if you want to explore more hidden systems behind history's greatest myths, if you want to step beyond the surface of famous battles and uncover the mechanics beneath them, then subscribe to the channel. Because here, we don't just retell history. We dismantle it, we examine it. We uncover the quiet structures that shaped empires. And if this changed the way you see Sparta, leave a comment below. Was their greatest weapon discipline or design? Your answer might shape our next exploration. History is not just about who was strongest. It's about who understood the rules. And Sparta understood them better than most. Thank you for standing in formation with us.